after the compliments, national anthem. Thank you, the Permanent Secretary, sir. The national anthem, as it takes its position. Please, let's reduce our movement. Thank you.
More music on Trinity.
Thank you. May we please sit with a round of applause for our country, Nigeria, our great country, Nigeria. Green and beautiful. Thank you so very much. Once again, a very good morning to every one of us in this hall. It is the 28th meeting of the National Council on Works with the theme, Infrastructure, the Season of Completion, taking place here in Kano State, the Center of Commerce. And today is the third day of this meeting with great ideas put together for the past 2 days. And today, we're having our transformative permanent secretary, a great son of this state, Bashir Nura Al-Khali, chairing this meeting. Please welcome him with a round of applause. We are honored to have him the permanent secretary. Sitting beside him is the Honorable Commissioner for Kano State Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, Engineer Idris Wada Saleh, MNSSE. And of course, sitting beside him is the Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Works in Kano State. I'm taking from the Permanent Secretary first. The Permanent Secretary. Please give him a round of applause. And of course, next to him is the Director, who is also the Chairman of LOC, Mr. Willie Martins of PRS. And of course, we have the representative of the President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Tasu Said Wadi, FNSE, being represented this morning by Engineer Isa Usman, FNSE. A round of applause for him. And of course, sitting to the left of the Permanent Secretary is our own Engineer Bolita. A round of applause for him. And of course, we have next to him the man in charge of engineering services, Valentin Wimon. A round of applause for him. And of course, we have another director from the Ministry of Tourism. Please give him a round of applause. And of course, we have again the MD of FEMA, Rafin Dadi. Please welcome him as well. And of course, the Soldier General of the Federation. Please welcome him as well. With the kind permission of the Permanent Secretary, sir, may I with great respect request that I pass the mic to the individual Permanent Secretaries so they could introduce themselves and you meet them, sir. Thank you.
My name is Engineer Mohammed Suleiman, Permanent Secretary, Adamawa State Ministry of Works and Energy Development.
Engineer Akanye Henry, representing the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Works, Akwa Ibom State.
Engineer Chidi Obiolu Matthew, representing Council Anambra State Ministry of Works, Mrs. Stephanie Eri Ozo.
My name is Abubakar Ibrahim Lamo, Acting Permanent Secretary of the State Ministry of Works and Transportation.
I am Rubio Ifeanyi Karumba, the Permanent Secretary of the State Ministry of Works and Infrastructure.
My name is Engineer Gabriel, representing the Permanent Secretary Ministry of Works and Transport, Jigawa State. My name is Engineer Ali Mohammed Tukur, Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Kaduna.
My name is Architect Saad Musa, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Works and Transport, Kenya.
I am Olul Papa Isiaq Emeka, Permanent Secretary of Works, Kwara State.
My name is Engineer Lufeng Daramula, Permanent Secretary, Office of Infrastructure, Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, Lagos State.
My name is Architect Adebayo Oluse, Permanent Secretary, Office of Works, Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, Lagos State.
Engineer Abubakar Salisu, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works and Infrastructural Development, Niger State.
My name is Engineer Bashir Akadi, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works and Transport, Osun State.
Engineer Alexander Blandan, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works, Plateau State.
My name is Garba Ahmed Busau, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works and Transport, Kwara State.
My name is Engineer Ali Walilawan, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works, Borno State.
Representative of regulatory bodies also introduce themselves. Kindly, thank you. And directors from Works and Housing Ministry, you could also introduce yourself, please. Thank you.
I am Surveyor C.I. Mabiche, President, Surveyors Council of Nigeria.
A round of applause for you. So may I just respectfully move you here? Thank you.
I'm Surveyor Dr. M.O. Ibitori, the Deputy President of Nigerian Institute of Surveyors, NIS.
Sia Suleiman, Director Internal Audit, Federal Minister of Works and Housing.
My name is Ali Abdullahi, Director of Human Resources, Ministry of Works and Housing.
I am Engineer Samuel Life again, Director of Operation, President, Representative Agency.
Engineer Felix Ebuzeme, Director of General Management Services, Federal Minister of Works and Housing.
Surveyor Sylvester Okafor, Acting Director, Planning, Research and Documentation, Office of the Surveyor General Federation.
Engineer Sahib Mohamed Ali, Director of Civil Engineering, Kebbi State.
Director, Architect Wilson Agonda, Director, Acting Registration Council of Nigeria.
Kabiru Dusi, SA, Housing Development Minister of State, Minister of Works and Housing.
Engineer Razak Kolawole Olani, Director Northwest 1, Federal Roads Maintenance Agency.
Dr. Emeka Agbasi, Director PPP, Multilateral and Special Duties, Federal Roads Maintenance Agency.
I am Assistant Corps Marshal Jonas MNI, representing the Corps Marshal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also, just joining us on the high table is Engineer Fodorusho Eson. Please welcome him as well. From the proceedings in our agenda, we now go to the welcome opening remarks by our guest of honor, the Honorable Commissioner for Kano State Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, Engineer Idris Wada Saleh, MNSE. A round of applause for him. Thank you.
Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Works and Housing, Haji Bashir Nur Al-Qari, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Works and Infrastructure and Development, Kano State, Ahmed Salis, all directors, Federal Minister of Works and Housing, Minister of Housing, State President here, and State Minister President here, Surveyor General of the Federation, Director, Bridge and Design, Director, PRS Federal Minister of Works, Managing Director, FEMA. All federal controllers involved in the Federation, all respected delegates from the state of the Federation and Abuja. I'd like to start by welcoming our important guest, members of the federal government delegation, as well as other delegates from the state of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. I'd like to congratulate the delegates for having the unique opportunity to attend this annual highly dedicated meeting of the National Council on Works holding in our blessed Asian city of Kano. Welcome to Kano, the center of commerce. The theme of this year's event, tagged Infrastructure, the season of completion, is quite relevant and could have come better time than this. Nigeria is presently heading to yet another end of political transition in the year 2023, 4 years after conducting the previous national election in 2019. Based on the foregoing, it becomes absolutely desirable for government at all levels to strive hard to complete ongoing infrastructure projects within the remaining period of the tenure in order to ensure successful completion and sustainability. On the other hand, the incoming successive administration should take it duty-bound to ensure to complete those outstanding infrastructure projects that might be left incomplete in the tenure of the present administration. As well, this will ensure judicious utilization of public funds, value for money, sustainability and continuity at all to the benefit of the entire citizen. It is in this regard that the right from its inception in 2015, the present administration, under the leadership of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje Officer, took the bull by the horn and resolved continued execution of inherited project to logical conclusion. The affected project include construction of Aminu Al-Hassan Antata, a 1.79 kilometer flyover with 9 number plovers along Murtala Muhammad Way. Dualization of Yahya Gusau Road at Gadankaya and underpass. Construction of Janguza Garaya Road with 9 bridges. Construction of Muhammadu Buhari Special Hospital Gigenyo. Construction of Sheikh Isiaq Rabiu Pediatric Hospital at Zoo Road, among others. All other projects are construction of Tijani Hashim Construction underpass at Kofar Rua along Kazina Road, construction of Dengue Interchange along Zaria Road, construction of Muhammad Buhari Cancer Center, construction of Ali Kodangote Acquisition Center, construction of road network at Gaya, Ranu, Kairai, Emirate Council headquarters, and construction of Muhammad Buhari Interchange along Meduguri Road, which comprises passes and flyover and has presently reached 95%. At this juncture, I'd like to seize the opportunity to invite our respected delegate to spare time, a little of their valuable time, to pay a visit to some of these above-mentioned projects, to witness and appreciate the tremendous effort by His Excellency Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje Officer, aimed at transforming our great city at Kano as an emerging mega city, which so far yielded positive results. Some of these places of interest to visit are Muhammad Buhari Interchange, along special places of interest to visit are the Muhammad Buhari Interchange along Maiduguri Road, Muhammad Buhari Cancer Center, Dengue Interchange, and along Zaria Road and Aliko Dangote Skill Acquisition Center, which are not far from this venue. I would like also to thank the Honorable Minister for Works and Housing for approving the hosting right to Kano State, as well as His Excellency the Executive Governor of Kano State, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje Officer, for accepting to host this year's meeting and equally approving colossal amount to support and make the event a reality. I would like to once again use the medium to warmly welcome an important delegate to Kano and also wish you fruitful deliberation. Thank you. I wish you a happy stay in Kano.
Can you give the person a better round of applause, please? Thank you so very much, the commissioners, Following in that same footstep, about now, my honor and privilege to bring to the podium a great son of this state and the transformative permanent secretary of the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Bashir Nura Al-Khali. Round of applause for him as he gives us his remarks as chairman of today. Thank you.
Our special guest of honor and the Honorable Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, my friend, AJ Engineer Idris Wadasale, and my other friend, the Permanent Secretary of the same ministry, Architect Albert Salisu, permanent secretaries from the states who have graciously been here, President, Nigerian Society of Engineers, hereby represented, the Managing Director of FEMA, Surveyor General of the Federation, my directors, Bridges and Design, Engineering Services, Construction and Rehabilitation, PRS, admin, internal audit, and all others that I can see from here. President Surveyors Council of Nigeria, Federal Controllers of Works across the Federation and are here with us today. Directors, other directors of the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, as well as other directors of other MDAs from both the state and the federal government, representatives of other agencies that are here with us, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Let me say that I'm particularly pleased that I'm here today. As our Director of Press has kept on saying, I'm a very proud son of the soil, and I'm really, really proud to be here today with you. When I was with the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, I was delighted that the first official function I performed as Permanent Secretary was here in Kano. Incidentally, I think this is the second one I'm performing, but that be that as it may, I'm very glad to be here today. So permit me to just read this very short address to kickstart our deliberations today. I'm pleased to welcome you all to the 28th meeting of the National Council on Works, held in Kano State, which incidentally is also my home state. As you are aware, the theme for this year's National Council meeting is Infrastructure, the Season of Completion. The theme is apt and timely, considering the push by all governments at this point to complete and commission most of its road and bridge projects initiated and or inherited by this administration. Accordingly, in order to ensure that the target of completion and commissioning of these projects is achieved, it has become necessary for all stakeholders to consider and provide creative and contemporary ideas and policy suggestions that will support the attainment of the above targets. You may recall, ladies and gentlemen, that a few weeks ago, the National Council on Housing was also held in Sokoto, where far-reaching decisions were taken on sustainable development in the housing sector, especially with a view to the provision of social housing and other related matters. I must, at this juncture, thank our esteemed host, the Governor of Kano State, His Excellency Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, OFR, and the good people of Kano State for the gesture of receiving us to deliberate on this crucial theme that was carefully chosen to ensure that the massive spending of public funds by governments at all levels in highways and other road infrastructure to ensure smooth mobility and access is duly accounted for through completed and commissioned road infrastructure across the country. It is of special note that the Kano State government, under its able leadership, has brought tremendous development in the road sector that are worthy of emulation by all states. This meeting is therefore significant as it will afford stakeholders the desired opportunities to to identify some of the challenges in the highways and related sectors that could militate against successful completion and commissioning of roads in the country as this administration winds down, and to discuss strategies and possible practical solutions towards addressing them. We are required to have the objectives of the National Development Plan 2021 to 2025 in mind as we look at ways of ensuring that road projects are completed and commissioned in order to galvanize national growth and sustainability. I am aware that our directors and other executives and experts in the road sector have spent the last 2 days discussing these issues, and this should form the basis of our discussion and recommendations for the consideration of the Council tomorrow. Our recommendations should focus on restoring economic growth, the ease of doing business, local content utilization, investing in our people, and creating a competitive economy through the availability of good and completed road networks across the country. Distinguished delegates and officials, the timing of this meeting, therefore, is very auspicious, as it affords us the opportunity to think through and make necessary arrangements, as well as take critical steps to ensure that road infrastructure projects are completed, commissioned, as well as maintained throughout their lifespan. This will also ensure that money spent on roads and bridges impacts on the Nigerian economy and the citizens positively. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity to thank all those officials and experts who have made this council meeting a success since the last 2 days, especially our host seated here, the Honorable Commissioner for Kano State Ministry of Works and Infrastructure and his permanent secretary, directors from the Federal Ministry of Work and Housing and other federal and state MDAs and agencies, our development partners, the local organizing committee, the press and security agencies. I thank you most sincerely. On this note, I once again welcome you all and wish us very, very successful deliberations. Thank you very much, everyone.
Can we give him another round of applause? From Solomon Soy and State. Thank you, the Transformative Permanent Secretary. With your permission, sir, I would like to introduce my colleagues who are working with me on the moderation of this section. I have with me the Deputy Director from the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, the Press Department, Mr. Stephen Kilemi. A round of applause for him. And also we have with us in the house from Kano State, the Director Program of the ARTV Radio in Kano and Television, Mr. Yaku Hamza. A round of applause for him as well. So my colleague is going to run us through the remaining section. Thank you.
Good morning, the Transformative Permanent Secretary in Federal of Works and Housing, the Honorable Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Kano State, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Infrastructure for Work, Kano State, Directors of the Ministry here present, Heads of Agencies, Permanent Secretaries of the 36 States of the Federation and Federal Capital Territory. We are honored to have you at this gathering. It is a tradition that whenever we are gathered like this, there is a name for somebody to give us a talk. And on that note, it is now my pleasure and privilege to invite you to talk to us, Director of Engineering Services, Engineer Felix, the Mayor of the Federal Works and Housing, to lead us through that sector talks. Can we give you an applause for the council? Thank you.
Thank you, MC. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Works and Housing, the Commissioner, and other members of the High Table, please permit me to stand and already established protocol. My duty here is a very simple one and also a good one, not like the MC has said. But safety is key in everything we do, and we all encourage safety and security conscious. And then security, we are told, is everybody's business. So it's important that we remain safe. So my main duty is all about emergency preparedness. Not just because of this location, because the organizer has done everything to ensure your safety and kind of be very peaceful, so there's nothing to worry about. But we need to pass on this information to let it sink. Because in the market, they will tell you they have to repeat something up about 5 or 6 times for it to sink in. And so that is why I'm here, all about emergency preparedness. So whenever you are at a location like this, it's always important for you to know the exits. The importance of that is that should anything happen and that you need to go, you now know how to move out. And when everybody is moving in the same direction, you see that the flow will be very simple and easy. That under 2-3 minutes, everybody will be out there. So in Nigeria today, there are so many emergencies, but God is seeing us through. But we need to know what to do should anything happen. For this hall, the emergencies are 2 main emergencies, so 3. But one is partially closed, but it's not locked. The very first one is still open, but because of the table in front of it, it looks as if it's locked, but it's open. And then the main one will enter from, and also the central one behind you. So just know the one closest to you. Should anything happen, you just follow that and leave. And as you're leaving, there's a procedure of evacuation. Everybody should also take note of and follow. The very first one, and the most important of all, is do not panic. No matter whatever thing is happening, whether it's in the office, at home, anywhere, please do not panic. When you are angry, please do not panic. You are better off to do nothing. Because if you do anything at that point, you may need to regret it. So that's why the first one is do not panic. The second one, stop whatever you are doing and move towards the nearest exit. And as you are moving, please move at the speed of the person in front of you. No overtaking, because that will cause more confusion. And as you are going, if anything drops, though we are small here, so if anything drops, you can pick. But this is the market or in the stadium where there are so many people. If anything drops, please do not bend to pick. When you bend to pick, the person here can push you down, and then the people will be trampled upon, and then that will be one of the major problems. And as you get that, our mustering point for this hotel is behind the car park. So that's where the roads will be taken. That's for the exits. The next thing again that the organizers have put in place that they also need to look, you have a medical team here for us to service us. There's a doctor, there's an eye doctor, there's a pharmacist, a lab scientist, and a qualified nurse here, all provided for you. So should you feel unwell, they're out, they want to step out from this main entrance to your left. That's where they are. But in case if you don't know about it, if you have not visited the hospital to know your vital signs recently, it is encouraged you take time out to see them, maybe to take your eye pressure, blood pressure, sugar level, cholesterol, all that they will do is there for you. So please take time to see them. For your convenience, we have for male and female. But this hotel prides themselves as 5-star, though I don't quite agree with them. But what they are actually doing very well. Because the conveniences are for the male, as you step out here, just to your left, that's for the male. For everybody, both high and low tables. But the key is that it's actually very good. So if you have the color of nature for the male, that's very good. For the female, you walk straight down. That, as you enter there, the first door to your right is for the females. And also for the hall here, there are some wires all moving, crisscrossing around. So please, as you walk around, please take note of those wires so that we don't disrupt our thing or damage anything. It's also important for us to do that. There's also another thing we need to know. The emergency numbers. Many of us don't take note of this. And our police have been working very, very hard. Oh, it's already on board. Every state has an emergency number. As you can see that of Kano, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 numbers there. Every state has an emergency number. We all encouraged to save these numbers in our phone. And I assure you, once you call this number, under 5 minutes, wherever you find the police will be there. Please, save the numbers, the one pertaining to your state. But now that we're in Kano, please, save that of Kano. So you shouldn't need anybody else. Should there be any problem, if you're not armed robbery or whatever it is, you call the numbers, they will attend to you. On behalf of the organizers, I wish to welcome to the Center of Commerce and wish you a fruitful celebration. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. Please, let's appreciate him one more time. Please put your hands together. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works, Housing, Kano State. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Works and Housing. Distinguished delegates, once again, you're welcome onto this session. It's a session of the Permanent Secretaries. Moving towards the end of it, it's an event that I would invite for the presentation. Engineer Akinwude Olu. This session is going to be a presentation on the new innovations on the use of alternative technologies in roads infrastructure development. He is coming to lead us in that presentation as our IT team will be ready for that. And he's from the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, NIBRI. Let's appreciate Engineer Akinwude Olu as he comes out to make this presentation. Please, let's appreciate him. Please, our ICT guys will be ready. Please, it's going to be a virtual presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Works. Good afternoon, the Honorable from the 36 states present here today, other senior directors from various agencies, ministry, and departments of states and federal governments, all good cause juniors are. My name is Engineer Jumani Luatosin, a research engineer with the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute. And in the next few minutes, I'll be presenting a brief output of a research project that was conducted under the purview of the Institute in collaboration with various stakeholders in the road sector. And the title of the presentation is, as you can see from the screen, Superbill Specification for Nigeria. Like I said earlier, the research work that was conducted had agencies from Samson Duna of the Institute. First of all, what's SuperPay? SuperPay basically is an acronym for Superior Performing Asphalt. It's a system of mixed design that was developed in the US. And basically, it takes in cognizance of the performance of your asphalt mix, looking at where it should be used, considering the temperature, considering traffic, considering other environmental influence that are associated with asphalt utilization. In addition, the two major problems that we all know that affect our pavements, which is the particle or the rotting distress, is also taking cognizance while you do your the design at the binder scale and at the mixture scale. The SuperPay, like I said, involves a gradation system that characterizes the bitumen, which most of us call the binder, that is the binding material for the asphalt mix. And in the process of looking at this material, there are some advanced testing equipment that is being used to test them. And it's consider those factors that are inherent when we use our asphalt. You look at the temperature, you look at asphalt loads. You also consider the aging performance of the bitumen while you design it in the lab. And in doing this, there's some basic test equipment like the rotational viscometer, the DSR, and the aging system that you deploy your bitumen into, which is the RTFO, and the PAV, that's rate both short-term and long-term aging. Then DSR is able to simulate the rotting and fatigue behavior of your bitumen itself at that scale. Then the BDR also helps in looking at the crack behavior of the bitumen at low temperature. Although in our context, we ignore this because yes, we forecasted due to climate change in the event to have low temperature in places like Jos in our country. So these are models that we deploy in characterizing our bitumen. Thus, adaptation or adoption of this system in Nigerian context. This is the second phase we hope to begin soon, which is the mixture scale. Will involve characterization, the aggregates, and also preparation of the mixture using the gyratory compactor, and also testing the mixture skill in terms of the behavior, in terms of the relative behavior of the mixture itself, subjecting to test protocol like open baking and do modification to get these grades for most of the states in the north, PG 7010, PG 6410, PG 5810 for states close to the coastal line. What does this PG 7010 mean? It means that the bitumen can withstand temperature up to 70 degrees. And up to as low as -10 degrees as the minimum temperature. And it is of interest to share that our conventional way of testing our bitumen, which is the penetration something point, we realize that the 60-70, the something point is usually between 45 and 50 or 46 and 50. But in most cases, even in FCT, our pavement temperature gets up to 55, 60, depending on the year, depending on the month, when you get your temperature and the time in the day. But the maximum is within that range. So what does that tell us? That our bitumen will be flowing if we use a 60-70. And such pavement will also be prone to rotting, because when your temperature is above 50 and your softening point temperature for your normal system you use is between 45 to 50. So invariably, our roads will be prone to rotting. So we are saying now that at this scale, instead of just using generic, when you want to design our bitumen for any region or any state, you consider this kind of techniques to see the temperature where you want to apply your bitumen and design your bitumen based on performance system, which is what this super pave is all about. And I would like the council to note that we actually began this program since 2018. We created awareness. We invited one of our partners from Canada to assist us in developing all these programs. And we have a lot of engineers from states, federal, attended the awareness program, and it was well appreciated, and we saw the need that going forward we need to adopt this and develop our system, that we recognize the fact that we can't continue to use a generic bitumen for all these states, because we have different inherent factors such as loads, temperature, environment, rainfall. So at this stage, we're going to develop these 3 grades to begin with, and we hope that the performance grade system, if adopted, will be able to address these 2 phenomena that we see on our roads on a daily basis. I know we're used to Marshall mix design, which we currently practice. So I try to give a comparative assessment between the current practice and where we want to shift to, transiting to, which is the super pave. The Marshall mix design is just a between filler mortar adhesive system. Don't really give the property of the mortar or the property of the bitumen. It cannot predict the fatigue behavior of the bitumen, and the compaction is static on a fixed flow. It doesn't show the tire interaction behavior on the asphalt, which is what super pave is addressing. Also, it's the compaction, like I say, is unconfined. Doesn't show what is applicable in the field. It is imperial. It cannot predict deformation. It cannot predict the resistance behavior of your asphalt. And these are recognizing the advantage of the silver pave over the Marshall mix design. So, I would like to thank the organizer for giving us the opportunity to present this and to also pray that the council will see this first phase that the committee has done, and I appreciate the fact that 60-70 bitumen using across board is unrealistic, and will begin to move away from this Marshall mix design that is more or less static, empirical, and not able to make our pavement be designed in a performance behavior. And we hope that if we're able to shift, we'll have better roads that will last longer. We'll save a lot of money from maintaining our roads frequently. We can also move most funds that will be used to build roads that are Marshall mix based to a super mix based design. By so doing that, we're saving a lot of cost for the government and for our people. Thank you very much for your time, and I also want to thank the organizer once again for the impromptu acceptance of us presenting these findings for our first phase. Very soon we'll be moving to the second phase, which is the mixture scale. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much. Thank you for appreciating Engineer Akimade Olu from the Nigerian Building and Road Infrastructure Institute, NIBRI. Thank you very much for your new innovation. With the permission of the Permanent Secretary, the Commissioner, and members of the top table, and of course, the whole lot of us here in this hall, we have come to the first section of this meeting today of the Permanent Secretaries. With the permission of the Permanent Secretary, sir, we are going to have a group photograph up here now. The first set of photographs, and then the Permanent Secretary on the down here will now join. Thank you very much for this section. And thereafter, we have a tea coffee break. And then the next few minutes after the tea coffee break, we're going to come back here. But I've been directed to let us know that the top table will go first, and then the rest of us will go through the papers to be discussed today, just run through them, and then somebody will come around to take you to your own venue for your tea break. Thank you very much. So the PAM sector, we're going to have your group photograph now. Thank you. Oh, we're going to have the group photograph up. When they're done standing, then those of us on the floor here will join them in front here, down. Thank you. Boss, are you ready? Okay. I have been directed that we are going to be having a walking tea break after the group photographs. So those of us who want to have our tea, you could just quickly go like in 2-3 minutes, take your tea and come back here while the plenary starts immediately. Thank you. So we are having our tea break now. Group photograph first, sir. Thank you very much for your time and your patience. We're going to have the group photograph immediately. First, we're having the top table members, and thereafter, those of us on the floor here will join them in front. And of course, we go back to our initial arrangement. The chairman LOC is going to take members of the top table there first while we run through our submissions for discussion today. And thereafter, the chair in charge of the tickets will come around and issue our tickets, and then we all go in that order and come back in a few minutes. Thank you. Beautiful setup. Thank you. Can the PAMSECs now join them in front? Thank you. All permanent secretaries and their representatives, please join them. Lovely pictures. Thank you. Regulatory bodies as well. Road safety, please join them. MNI. Thank you. The controller works engineer Yahaya Ali from Kano. Join him. Thank you. It's your territory. Thank you. Do we cut it? Can you take everybody? Yes, ma'am. Try. Thank you. May I request that the PAMSEC and the Commissioner and the PAMSEC panel, yes, Director Flores, also, we want to have a short one we can use for our story. Thank you. Yes, thank you, sir. Yeah. Engineer, sir. Exactly, that's fine. It's okay. Thank you. Also, are you good? Thank you very much, PAMSEC. So, Director of Planning, we will take that. While those of us here could go through our submission for the plenary coming up shortly, and our colleague in charge of the tickets will come issue you your tickets. So, meanwhile, just go through your documents in front of you. Thank you very much and welcome again.
Tayo.